Let me ask you something. What's the first thing that comes to mind when I say the name Nate Robinson? Is it the fact that he's the only player in NBA history to win the slam dunk contest 3 times? Or is it the fact that some people consider him the NBA's most iconic little guy? Well, either one of those wouldn't have been wrong 3 or 4 years ago when it comes to the first thing you think of. But now it's sadly the Jake Paul fight. And I take absolutely no pleasure in saying that. Whenever he shows up to, let's say, a Pro-Am game, it always causes me to react inside like, damn, if only he never got in the ring with Jake. It just doesn't hit the same. I even noticed that he made an appearance at a slam ball game recently, and usually I would have been hyped to see him, but now it's to the point where the fight is the first thing and sometimes the only thing I can think about. I did think maybe it's just me, but apparently not. You guys are probably thinking that everyone should just grow up, but trust me, I remember trying my hardest to come up with silver linings, like, well, at least he got paid a good amount of money, you know, trying to come away with some positives. But honestly, I think he would go back in time if he could. Unfortunately, even though Jake eventually proved to be a pretty decent boxer, I don't really see the visual of him laying flat on the canvas like that getting any less embarrassing for him, and I don't want to see any of you guys try to lie and say otherwise. You guys are probably wondering, how does one bad moment he had off the court have an effect on what he was able to accomplish on the court? Well, it's kind of like the Will Smith slap situation. Obviously, he accomplished a lot in his field, but no matter how much you love the Fresh Prince, you can't tell me that slap isn't ingrained in your memory forever now. Some people think that his legacy took a hit from that, no pun intended. It started to look like Nate Robinson carved out a pretty good legacy himself, earning a ton of respect from everyone.
You know, being a little guy, bro, we get looked over and I want that guy. Oh, I want that guy. And I was like, yep. I said, well, as long as I get on the court, I'm gonna show you.
Oh man.
I said, I'm not really gonna trip about where I'm picked, coach. When you put me in, when I get in the game, you're gonna know the difference, and you're gonna see the tempos are gonna turn up. If you can play, you got heart. You ain't got you good. I'm telling kids right now, you got heart, you got passion, you believe in yourself, you can do anything.
While he definitely showed for many years that if you have heart, you can absolutely do big things, sometimes that mentality got him into trouble.
What's Robinson doing? Nate Robinson
escalated to this point with those two. They've been banging and bumping since the first time they were.
And Robinson getting in the face of Paul. The officials quickly separated. Technicals on both of them.
We're here now. I love the intensity. Yeah, I love it. It started already and the crowd loves it.
Nate presented himself as a tough guy at times, but when the opportunity came to finally prove it, it did not go too well for him. Remember guys, he's the one who wanted this fight.
You beat me will probably be the biggest accomplishment for your boxing career, saying, or a social media influencer or whatever. That's your biggest claim to fame right now, is knocking out Nate Robinson, so come do it. I'm putting my everything on the line for you, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it done.
You've been fighting other YouTubers. You're not fighting, like, bro, I'm a monster, dog. Like, you step on the court, you step on football, bro, like, y'all don't know what you think this is. You track, whatever, I want to win. So you got another thing coming and think I'm just going to let you whoop my ass? Like, no, you tripping.
Right before the fight, Nate had this to say, quote, "Tonight I'm fighting for my brothers in the NBA, athletes across the world, and most importantly, my children." To which Stephen Curry replied, "Let's go, at Nate Robinson, hold it down," causing Nate to say, "Gonna shock the world, bro," which you can certainly say he did, just not in the way he wanted to, leading to Steph Curry squeezing in one last reply after the fight, "I see no lies." Absolutely brutal, so brutal that Curry felt that he had to explain himself shortly after.
We got to talk about that tweet, Steph. We got to talk about that tweet.
So I know one thing about Nate is, one, he can dish out the trash talk and he can take it. He is the most resilient dude in the world. So if there's one person that I know that's going to find, like, you know, that comeback type of situation, I don't know if he's going to be back in the ring, but whatever he's going to do, amazing. We can always know Nate's going to be in good shape.
But Steph wasn't the only one essentially laughing at him. Matter of fact, Undisputed was literally laughing at him.
He's quite a bit bigger than Nate.
Yes.
And he's way more skilled, for what it's worth, than Nate.
Correct.
Nate's got no skill.
Exactly.
Okay, so it was
all-time embarrassing for a man who played the sport of NBA basketball at such a high level to wind up face down, knocked out.
Stephen A., what do you think was the bigger story? Was it Tyson Jones, or was it the fact that we saw Nate Robinson get KO'd?
I think it was Nate Robinson getting put to sleep. And when I say sleep, I mean sleep. I'm talking about out, not moving, completely out cold. Max, I don't know if it was smelling salts or something that they used, but he was on that canvas, I counted, for at least 2 to 3 minutes.
And don't even get me started on this ironic shirt that Nate Robinson's team wore to the fight, only for him to end up like that, resulting in a ton of memes being made. It must have felt like a nightmare given how everybody was roasting him, which was certainly something he was not used to, except it was a nightmare that he couldn't wake up from. It became something that he now has to live with forever. He even went as far as to change his number after the fight.
You know, I got Nate's number. You know, I didn't even know that this was gonna happen. Nate's number's not the same.
He changed his number.
The number I got is not the same.
I mean, can you really blame him? He was really hurting.
I know because of, you know, the Currys and LeBrons, everyone laughing, that probably hurt him, like hurt his soul. Like, I think that hurt more than the actual fight, losing to a YouTuber. I'm pretty sure losing to a YouTuber, he's like, but it's your peers. You feel like you let them down. And, you know, as a big bro to him, I'm like, well, no, the letdown is if you don't get back in that ring.
No, it's okay. No, don't do that. Don't do that, Gil. Don't talk that man on another one.
I don't know why his decision to do this still kind of bothers me for some reason. Maybe it's because I was such a huge fan of his and was really rooting for him to win. This all could have easily been avoided. Now, am I saying that he should have just sat in his room and not take any sort of chances or risk at all for the rest of his life? I mean, obviously not, but it should be known that a boxing match is quite literally the fastest way to ruin how people view you. Just ask Frank Gore, Tyron Woodley, and Nate Diaz, who all took a huge gamble by stepping into a boxing ring instead of being satisfied with the legacies they already had. A gamble that did not pay off, altering their reputations just a tad. But I guess that was a risk they were willing to take. I'm telling you, last impressions are arguably just as important as first impressions. Jake even said that he was a big fan of Nate Robinson growing up himself, and probably still is to a degree. But now, I bet it's not even the same for him either. Knocking someone out who you admittedly used to watch play back when you were a kid had to have been pretty awkward. It just seems like he lost it all. And what I mean by all is, he even had the overall athlete thing going on for him as well. But he just had to mess that up by putting on some gloves.